It's that time, folks. The time to find out if you should buy the Note 7 or the S7 Edge / S7. So, just to throw it out here, I don't work for Samsung. Samsung don't pay me any money. The only thing they do is take all my money. So, my review is strictly unbiased. This is my opinion. I own both devices. They're mine. Paid for by me. So this is just my take on it. So don't get upset for you out there who just bought the Note 7 or you who have an S7 Edge. This is just my opinion. Alright, so let's rock out. Before we jump into it, please rate, subscribe, comment, and that's it. So, key differences between the two units. Let's just jump straight into it. I know some people are big on specs. So from a size standpoint, the S7 is a little bit bigger. Excuse me, the Note 7 is a little bit bigger at 153 by 73.9. How does that compare to S7 Edge? 150 by 0.9 by 72.6. And the difference between the thickness is one is 7.9 millimeters, the other 7.7. So there's not a huge, dramatic difference there, right? So then you have the weight factor. The weight's a little bit different. On the Note 7, it's heavier at 169, and the other one is at 157 grams. You're not really going to notice that difference, okay? So, that's negligible. They both screen resolution is 2560 by 1440. The Note 7 has a 5.7 inch screen, S7 Edge 5.5. The batteries, it surprisingly is a little bit different. Even though the Note 7 is bigger, it only has a 3500 milliamp battery, while the S7 Edge, which is smaller, has a 3600 milliamps. How does that play out into the real world? It's about 30 minutes, okay? So some people say about 15, 20. I think overall it's going to be about 30. All the reviews that I read from other larger sites say it's about 30 minutes difference, okay? So keep that in mind. They both run the same Snapdragon processor if you have a version of the US carrier version, which is that Snapdragon 820. And if you have the overseas, they run in the Equinox 8890 processor, I'm pretty sure. They both run an Android 6.01, 4 gigs of RAM. The Note 7 comes standard 64 gig hard drive. The S7 Edge comes in 32 or 64, depending which region you're in and options you have available to you. But they both have expendable memory up to 256 gigs, so it really doesn't matter, right? Either you're going to have 320 something or you're going to have 380 something, right? Depending on if you use that big size of a memory card. Not a big deal. FM radio support. I was told that FM radio was actually built into these, but they turned them off. So I'm going to say yeah, no. I think the original specs said no, but I've seen many reports say that they actually have them built in. But as of now, they both got them turned off. They're both Bluetooth 4.2, both have NFC, both have Samsung Pay. They both have the exact same camera, which is a 12 megapixel camera with an f-stop of 1.7. They both have same water resistance as the IP68. Fingerprint sensor they both have. Here's where you get into the difference. You got the iris scanner on the Note 7, and then you also have the stylus on the Note 7. Now the stylus alone will make some people say it's worth the extra money by far, okay? Right now, just hit my leg, I apologize. Right now, the Note 7 is dropping for $850. It drops tomorrow, right? It's a lot of money. I mean, that's more than a lot of computers. The S7 Edge, I think if you go buy them right now in stores, you can find them like $699. Here's the kicker. If you go to Craigslist, if you go to eBay, you can find this phone for almost $500 in some places now. Maybe $550. It's going to be used, but still, $550 versus $850. That's something to think about. That's $300. How many dollar bills can you get with that? 300. So it's like, you really got to start weighing your values and what you're going to use on the phones, right? So let's jump into them, see how they look, how they feel in the hand, and then I'll tell you my opinion on what you should or shouldn't do. So, S7 Edge, very slick. They changed the game with this. I mean, basically, it's the S6 Edge, but when they added the waterproofing, they brought back the memory card. It just made it was just a happy moment, right? It's a 5.5 inch screen in a very small package, and it's just clean and it works. So, at the top, you got your SD card, microphone, side power button. Bottom, you have your speakers, mic, USB micro, and then you have your headphone jack, left hand side, volume rockers, back camera, flash, heartbeat sensor, right? Once again, all this is the exact same, okay? So, Note 7, you have the iris scanner, which is different than what you have over here. Same front-facing camera, okay? At the top, you got your SD card, memory card slot, headphones, or excuse me, not headphones, mic. You got your power button. The bottom, you have your S Pen. You have, let me slow down so the camera can catch up. You have your speakers. You have mic, and this is a USB-C. This is the new hotness that everyone is going to a USB-C. There's a lot of benefits of USB-C, which is basically you can have power management or power flow back and forth. You can actually charge devices on some devices with USB-C. Can't do that with micro USB. Some of them are a lot faster transferring data-wise. You won't really notice a huge difference between these or any difference at all. And then you have your mic, okay? Or excuse me, your headphone jack. On the left-hand side, you got your power rockers. And then on the back, you got the same camera. The exact same camera, same flash, same everything, right? So it's not a huge deal. So the question comes, is the phone really worth $300 more? Or if you buy it brand new in store, $100 more? I will say yes, no. It depends on what it comes down for you, right? So the Note 7 has some of the newer features. One of the newer features is the iris scanner. So you can sit here, you swipe your finger up, you look at it, put your eyes in. I put my eyes in. See if I can get close enough so to read. And it unlocks itself, right? It's nice. It's a cool feature. Is it something that you're going to use every day? I'm going to say no. And the reason why is because you have to hold it at a certain level. It has to be pointing at your face. And it has to catch your eyes. It's just an extra work when I could have just put my fingerprint here in the first place. Because the one thing about this is you still have to turn the phone on. Then you have to swipe up to get that. Well, I could have just easily just pressed the home button, put my finger on it, and now I'm back in my phone, right? So it works. It's decent. I mean, it's not terrible, but it's not the fastest thing as far as like it doesn't always work. Now, when it does work, it works extremely fast, but it doesn't always work. Once again, I don't think that's a game changer, so that doesn't separate the two phones in my opinion. Camera. They have the exact same camera sensors, okay? So you're not gonna get a better picture in one versus the other. What's different is the software setup. Now, I don't know if the S7 Edges will eventually get updated when the new Android version comes out. If the camera setup is gonna be the exact same, but right now in this camera mode, you swipe to the left or to the right, you get all your options. You swipe to the right, you get all your filters. Swipe back and then you swipe up, and you switch back and forth from cameras, okay? That's me. Hey! Just playing. So, that's a nice feature. The UI is definitely a lot cleaner. The Note 7 actually supports the first HDR. So, that is actually a big deal, right? So, that's something that a lot of people eventually will start getting into, and it will make sense to have. So, as far as the camera on the S7 Edge, it's still a great camera, right? So, let me switch it. As I said, the UI is a little bit different. It's not as clean. It's not as streamlined as Note 7. But that's just software related. And that might get updated later on. And who knows, it'll be the exact same thing. The menus are a little bit different. A little cleaner. A little nicer to look at on the Note 7. But this is aesthetics, right? This is just pure preference. You drop a theme or something like that. For you that's into rooting, the bootloaders are locked. So we're stuck unless you root your phones. But you can customize all that if you into that type of thing. But if you're not, you're still gonna be happy either way it goes, right? So get rid of that. The settings menus are the same for the most part. They cleaned it up in this one. And this one is one page. Everything is there. It's a little easier to find. It's a little more fine-tuned, but it's still a menu, right? It's not a big difference. Like I said, they're using the exact same chips. So where do you have the difference? The difference really comes into the S Pen. That's it. If you're a person who's going to use the S Pen a lot, then I think the Note 7 is for you. If you want to step your Snapchat game up, do it. You know, the S Pen can do a lot of cool things. One of my favorite things with the S Pen is how you can translate on the fly. You can write on the screen. You can write on the screen when it's turned off. You can take a note. Where I'm trying to get my game stepped up is actually the Smart Select. So, one of the cool features with this, I'm going to YouTube. I hope I don't get in trouble since I'm just looking at YouTube videos, is you can come into a video on YouTube. I won't play it. I guess I have to play it. So, go to the YouTube video, tap your pen, hit select, animation, put it where you want, and if you hit record, it's record a GIF. Some people call them GIFs, I call them GIFs, whatever floats your boat. If you hit stop, and now look, ooh, your GIF game, you can write on it, you can be like, dang. Hit a save, share it, undo it, whatever, and then it's just play it. It's a really, really cool feature. One thing I love about the S Pen that they did, when you write on something, it makes a sound now, so it's almost like you're writing on paper with a pencil. So that's kind of cool that they thought to include that. That was really nice. So as you can see, dang, it's animated. It's a really, really cool feature, right? The pen is what separates the Note 7 from the S7, and that's it. The only other difference will be the 5.7 screen, the real estate. It's nice to have. Is it that big of a difference? I'm gonna say no. I'm typically what I like to call blind. I got some thick glasses, and I don't have an issue, with either phone. Like that extra 0.2 is not gonna do anything for me. I will say the Note 7 is wider, so with some cases it feels harder to hold it in the hand. But out of case, the Note 7 feels a lot better in the hand than the S7 Edge, and the reason why is this is a lot more curved over and rounded and smooth. Or I should say they flattened it out a little bit more and then they rounded it on the sides. So it just feels naturally better in my hand. The S7 Edge comes to a very sharp point. So it's like it flows off the screen and then it gets real sharp. I've never liked holding this phone without a case in my hand because I feel like it's too thin on the outsides and it's not comfortable in the hand. So, but outside of that, it's really not a huge difference. Like this doesn't need to be a long video. This is not a video going into the details of what the Note 7 can do, because if you know what an S7 or S7 Edge can do, the Note is right there on par, and the S7 Edge and the S7 is right there on par with the Note minus the pen and the iris. So my personal opinion to you, I will say right now, don't spend $850 unless you don't have an S7 S7 Edge. If you do not have one of those two phones, upgrade is a very cool thing. It's something you need to think about because you do get the added features of the pen, a little more real estate as far as the screen. You do get USB Type-C, which is, some say yay and nay as far as a game changer. Really doesn't matter. And then you, like I said, you get the iris scanner, which is fun. It's cool to use, cool to show your friends. I was having fun at work today with that, but it's not a game changer as far as something you have to have. One other thing that I forgot, you do have features like Secured Folder. Secured Folder allows you to, basically, if you have a picture that you don't want anyone to see, I can move it into that folder, and no one can see that folder unless they unlock it with my fingerprint, right? So they can go through my whole phone if I unlock it and give it to them, but whatever's in that folder location, they can't see. That's a software feature. There's a lot of software out there right now that can already do that in the App Store. So I'm pretty sure that's actually going to get upgraded to the other phones. If it don't, you can always go to the App Store and get something like that. Outside of that, there's not a huge difference. Same screen. The resolution is going to be, or the PPI is going to be just a tad bit different just because of the screen size. But outside of that, man, I'm telling y'all, think about it twice. I'm a person who spends a lot of money on tech. I love the new hottest thing. Which one am I going to keep? It's too early to tell. I really like the S7. I really like the Note 7 because I'm trying to step up my social media game, my Snapchat game, and I think I will utilize that pen a lot. But at this point, man, I'm still in the honeymoon phase, right? So I'm gonna wait a week before I make that final decision if it's a keeper or if I'm gonna let it go. So rate, subscribe, comment, let me know what you think. If you guys want me to do an in-depth Note 7 video showing you all the bells and whistles, I can do that. But this was more or less with me. I wanted to tell you guys what's hot, what's out there, my thoughts between the S7 versus the Note 7. Some people say, well, you can't compare the Note 7 to the S7 because you really should compare it to the Note 5. Screw that. I had all of them. You can look at my videos. I had the Note 5. The Note 5 is not the latest and greatest or the most recent phone from Samsung. It was the S7 Edge. And between the S7 Edge and the Note 7, there's not that many improvements. So for that extra $100, I don't know. Yeah, you get the extra 32 gigabytes of SD storage that's internally built in, but you got an SD card. So, does it really matter? I don't know. Some people may say, well, they're giving away a free Gear Fit 2 or the 256 SD card. Well, yeah, you're right, they are. But they also charge you more for the phone, and you can still go buy SD cards for the other phone. So it's not like, I don't know. I don't know if if it's really worth spending extra money. I did it. Luckily I can do that here and there, but I'm not gonna tell you to go out and spend that extra money. So that's what it is. Let me know your thoughts. Let me know your thoughts on the color. I think that color is really, really hot. And it is what it is. Like, now we can fight in the comments and have fun about it. So it's your boy Tech B Swift. Please subscribe. Please comment. Please rate. Check me out on Twitter. Check me out on Instagram. And I'm out. Alakazam.